So yeah, welcome. I'm I'm Karen. I'm the one of the co-founders of Wise Women Rising, and it really is a pleasure to be here for the second uh, Wise Women Rising retreat, um, the second online retreat, and we'll go into a little bit more of our story of how we got here in a little while. And I'd like to offer a landing, which is just an invitation to connect a little bit more into the body, a little bit more into the breath, and to acknowledge the country that we are on, each of us, where we're coming in from, and the relationship we have with the support that's underneath us. So, if there's willingness, I just would love for you to find a comfy spot in your chair, rest in a little bit more, and find a place for your feet on the ground that feels centered and a little bit more present to the physical, this beautiful body that we've been gifted. So, if it's comfortable for you to close your eyes, I invite you to do that. And what I'm noticing here is a lovely smile in my heart of there's a warmth and a gratitude. So inviting you into this energy of appreciation, appreciation for the circle, appreciation for the life that lives in us and the great life that lives and breathes underneath us, and our sense of connection to the stories that have been told and the feet that have walked on the land that we call home, and respect to all ancestors and the ancestors of the First Nations people who've walked this land for many, 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 many generations. Just honouring all of us and our gathering here tonight to support one another and to be curious, to be curious. Um, what is this circle that we're arriving to? And to be open and willing to be in the adventure as we discover ourselves together. Like we've got a bit of a plan. Let's see how that plan emerges. And let's just welcome each other. Maybe when you're ready, gently opening your eyes and bringing a welcome to the others that you can see on the screen. So, Shez, I might pass to you for a little bit of presencing of where we are. We're going to do I'm going to navigate some pairs right now. So I'll hand to you to support us getting ready to go into some pairs.
Sure. Karen's just organising the, as she said, the breakout rooms. Hi, my given name is Cherie Scott, and in this group and in a couple of others, I am called Shez. And we're going to, in our pair, we're going to break out into pairs and just say hello to somebody else who's here in the group so that each of us has our voice heard and we connect. Yeah. It is a digital medium and I am very grateful for it. It has made a big difference to my life through these times. I have a sister in the USA and a mother in residential care, both of whom I would normally see in the physical. So I almost want to get you to perhaps hold yourself in some way right now, like acknowledge our physicality and just watch each other squeeze our bodies so that we remind ourselves that we are physical. And this was going to be an in-person retreat at Balnarring. So I have a little bit of I have joy and gratitude and grief at the same time. So I just want to honour us as physical beings, and I almost want to reach out and go, yes, I see your body. And yeah, as we go into our pairs, we take our physicalness with us. Are you ready,
Beautiful.
Karen?
Yeah, all ready. And 2 minutes each. It's not a long break. It's not a long check-in. It's just a 2 minutes. Hi, how are you? And how are you arriving? Maybe what's brought you here if you have time.
And I'm actually going to use my phone to set a little timer just so that, because it's easy to get carried away and lose my sense of time. So I'm going to set mine for 2 minutes so that I just get to share the time with whoever I'm going to get to say hello to. Yeah, I think setting a timer is a great idea, Kate. If one person can do it, then yeah.
I just realized that it's asking me to do it manually, so I'm just quickly catching up with my.
Oh, and what are we sharing about? Just how we are?
How we're arriving and what brings us here if we're.
Saying hello.
Anne asked a question. We'll be going into breakout rooms, Anne. It'll put us into pairs.
Okay. Recording. Yeah, so thank you. Lovely to check in with you, and
thanks, Karen.
lovely to see you here tonight. Hello, Miss Elizabeth.
Hello.
Hello. Lovely to see you too. Hi, Patricia. Hi. Thanks for coming. You're on mute. Yeah. People coming back. All is well.
And Karen,
Yeah,
is that
welcome back.
Louise Sharp that I introduced you to?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, cool. I thought so, but I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
She wouldn't have made it to the retreat, would she?
No, exactly. Being an interstater. This is why there's the morning and the celebration, because there's the people that can participate because it is online. That it opens up a new possibility. It's good. So it's about 30 seconds before. Oh, here we go. Everyone's coming back in. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that supported you as much as it supported me. I had a really enjoyable sense of connecting and landing. Yeah. Shares, back to you. We're going to say a little bit more about this sort of space, or the cup that we're holding, this energetic space that we're bringing together tonight. And a little bit of our journey as Wise Women Rising, where we've come from, for those of you who don't know us and who just may have a little bit of curiosity. So we're going to do this is our sort of third practice run today of trying to give you like a little snapshot. So here we go with another practice of sharing our journey story. Shez, back to you. Oh, you're on mute though. There we go.
Okay, so yes, and I'd love for you to contribute too, Karen. This group, Wise Women Rising, started back in 2018 with an idea that bubbled up between two friends, between Karen and Annie, who's here tonight. Where are you, Annie? Wave, Annie. There we go. And yeah, and then we had a day at the beach, and I remember Annie and Karen and I think I started singing in the water, in the ocean, and we were playing, and it was just such a gorgeous experience. And we had just done a morning circle, which is interesting that we were in such a state of joy after having done mourning. But yeah, so that was 2018 in March at the beach. And we've done a number of things in the time since then to now, including in person, God, remember that, mourning circles. And when I say mourning circle, we do come together to consciously acknowledge our grief. It's not a common practice, but it's very heart-opening and creates space for more joy. And we had an in-person retreat down at Tirandara down in the southwest, which was gorgeous. We had some NVC trainings, and last year we had an online retreat. There was 28 facilitators and 100 women registered, and that was Karen's inspiration. And it was wonderful. And we experimented with another one afterwards for Women's Mental Health Week. And we did an open space thing where we came together and we spontaneously created stuff to do together that was quite magical. It involved us being outside. It was very emergent. Part of what we do in this space is that things are emergent, and I had a longing to be outside, and so outside we went, and yeah, it was magical. And then this year now, as I said, was supposed to be an in-person retreat, and we did have an in-person retreat in April down at Balnarring. We were going to have one in July to prepare for this, what was going to be an in-person retreat, and that didn't happen, and it was pretty clear this wasn't going to happen in person either. So here we are. And those of us that were going to be at the July retreat were part of a program called Our Time to Shine, and which was about us coming together to support each other, to have the courage to create something and share it at that in-person retreat now, at this retreat. So there's been lots of people part of it, you know, back in 2018 and through 19 and 20, and I want to thank them all. Some of them are here tonight. Some of them are apologies, and yeah, it's been a really interesting journey. And we have some principles that we work by which have been very freeing. One of them is that we are learning together in a transparent way. We're not going for perfection, or and that we try things if they're good enough for now and safe enough to try. That's what we do. So welcome to our emergent space. Kate said it was like a, what did you call it? A cup? Something cup?
Spacious cup.
Spacious cup, yes. I got a picture of my Tibetan singing bowl, and it was like a golden bowl. So that's the image that I'm holding. And Wise Women Rising, that name, it was about us connecting with our wisdom and sharing it. And Karen has a piece of writing that she's done very recently that speaks to the why of that, of those words, and why we gather, and why we have invited you to join us tonight and at events that will happen between now and the end of September, some of which you may just attend, some of which you may offer as time goes by in this emergent space. That's an opportunity that's there for you to come up with an idea and offer it and invite other people to come along. So I'm going to hand it back to you now, Karen. Actually, before I do, you might want to close your eyes as you listen to this. And after Karen's read it and we've just had a little space in between, we're going to break out again into threes and be able to just share what is what is there for us about what she's sharing?
Thank you, Shiz.
Is there anything else you want to say about the writing before you read it?
It came through me this week as a preparation for tonight's circle, as a piece of writing that well, I had tears as I wrote it, and it has shifted something in me from this sense of struggle that was really present with me over winter. Sense of like wanting there to be a light at the end of the tunnel, and wanting there to be a sense of hope and possibility in my bones, creativity and joy in my bones, like it was a calling back to a trust in my beingness, rather than the head and all the thinking and all the strategies. It was a calling home to the wisdom in my bones. So it speaks to a journey that is my personal one, but I hope resonates with you too.
Mm.
As a child, I lived in the long shadow of the paternal intention to protect and provide, a genuine intention to care, trapped in the form of rules and schedules, justified as doing the best for the family. A lot was sacrificed. I longed silently to be seen for my passions, for what I loved and how I saw things. I don't often remember a mirror of acceptance or celebration held to that truth in me. Eventually, I submitted my inner wisdom to the culture of right and wrong, the power of teachers and authorities, to the fear of punishment and the chase of external reward. In my inside world, I criticized and rejected myself as much as I corrected and rejected others. Even my happy experiences had suspicion baked in. I ensured no one else's evaluations of me could do more harm than my own. I was a captor, complicit in the status quo, self-silencing without conscious consent. I remember longing to feel warmly accompanied, understood and received. I deeply wanted support in translating my passion into compassion, my sense of injustice and pain into something sustainable and wise, to know the ways I fit magnificently into the shape of all things. I put a lid on my deep wisdom, though, in exchange for my belonging. I've been waiting for my time to shine. Now, in my mind's eye, I see a new dawn, where the stories of misery no longer fuel a path of self-destruction, where collectively we have the strength to feel our pain without losing our connection to life and each other, where we can dim our attachment to correcting and rejecting in favor of something so much more wonderful. I sense that we are being invited to open ourselves to being learners in full view, being asked to acknowledge the love shining from behind each of our conditioning. I believe it is the springtime of our wisdom emerging, a gathering time to sing our unique gifts alongside one another and to chorus with the birds and with all of nature, to bring this love in us, through us, to transform rather than to oppose. In the midst of the unknown, the polarities and injustice, the world is still a most beautiful place. Let our energy of love and learning together be our gift to tend to the aches of this time, this world. Let joy be our rebellion. Let wisdom be our liberation. It is time, wise women. Let's rise.
Thank you.
I'm just wanting to have it land with you in a way that you have space to digest it and also some space to share about how it's landed with you. I'd really love that. So I want to invite Samantha, have you managed to do some breakout triads for us? Or
Yes, I have. How long will each person have to share?
I think let's drop in 5 minutes each at least. And there's not a
Each.
have to or a should. If you just want to sit in some quiet with your eyes closed and just pass and let other people contribute if that's what's alive for you, just restful space to just let whatever arises.
I would like to offer another option for the sharing time.
Yeah.
Perhaps, let me see, in my breakout with Kate, we spoke for a minute and then swapped. And I'm just wondering about doing, you know how in meetings we do things in rounds. So we have a round of a minute or two each and then go round again, because there's something happens energetically with that. So you can, yeah, I guess my sense is the energy rises, or as we take turns and hear ourselves and each other. So you can choose how you spend your 5 minutes. Perhaps take a minute or so when you get into your group and talk about what feels right for you to do. Yeah.
Right.
By the
Oh,
way.
yes, let's do that again. Welcome everyone back. How was that? Was there a sense of like enjoying landing in company and getting to share? Wonderful. Yeah, we had a pretty stirring conversation in hour 3 as well, and just a real sense of how dense the static has been, the thinking static that's been in our world, how much we've had to, hold and trying to hold our calm in the face of the static that's pretty easily, you can easily tap into it if you want to. The despair and the static is there to be, pretty easy to feel it. But welcome back, everyone. Just sort of celebrating the the idea of catching joy. Did you say, Kate? Catching joy from one another. Being in a space where it's actually safe to go, oh, can I just put all of that down outside, all that other stuff? Can I just put it down and have a bit of spaciousness and rest and, some clear thinking? It actually supports clear thinking, for me anyway, stepping into community and having a breath. Shez, would you be willing to host some check-ins from people from their breakout rooms?
Yeah, thanks. I wondered if there's 2 or 3 people who would like to just share for, I don't know, a minute each, something of what's present for you now after you've had time with 2 other people, and yeah, where you are right now. In fact, I feel like kicking it off actually, because when I went to the breakout, my body was vibrating, like I was kind of shaking, and I was trying to analyze, oh, what is this? Is it excitement? Is it? And then as I connected into my body and just shared what was there, like now I have a stillness, and we did the going round and hearing from each other. I know it's just so simple and yet so moving, and I celebrated. There was a sense of in all of us about this week, what this week's been like, and yeah, I celebrated being able to do the healing as we're living, having our conflicts and working through them, and how you and I did that this week, Karen, and how I was supported by other people too. So I just have a peace and a joy here now. So that's me. If you could just put your hand up or speak when, actually maybe, just raise a hand physically so I can see you if you'd like to share something now.
Patricia, did you have your hand up before?
Yes, I did. I was just going to, can people hear me? Because my microphone is not the best on my computer.
I'm going to turn my volume up.
I'm just going to, I can't, my volume can't go any louder. I'll try and speak a bit louder. The three of us in our discussion really resonated with the "Let joy be your rebellion" quote part of your writing, Karen, and just and what it reminded me of is the surf practice, the embodied NVC surf practice that I do every day, because joy is actually one of the qualities that I've been working very strongly with in that this year around that. And in fact, when I first learned the practice, it was when I was doing at one of the sessions online with David Weinstock and practicing, and he invited us to go and take it outside into nature and stuff with it. And I had this beautiful experience of, because the way the practice works is you ask yourself what you would like a little bit more of in your life, or what it would feel like in your body if you had a little bit more. So for me, it was like, I wonder what it would feel like if I had a little bit more joy in my life. And then as I walked out in nature, and he invited you, there's a part where you create this bubble and you fill it up with that quality. And then you have other people that you can bring into the bubble, or nature, even like trees and flowers and things. And
so Patricia, I'm just going to want to pause for a second. I've got a timeline here, and so I'm hearing from you that there's joy and nature.
Yeah, I think the main point I wanted to make was that with that "Let joy be your rebellion," I was just reminded of this practice, and particularly working with joy, and how if I can find a way to cultivate it more within myself,
embody that,
how that actually I tend to I don't know, word is emit that myself more, and what happens is I end up getting more of that back into my so this lovely
embodying that value of joy,
reciprocal thing that happens.
Thank you. Actually, you've reminded me that the piece that I spoke to was feeling our pain without losing our connection to life and each other. journeying. I mean, that, you know, journeying together with our pain. Yeah. I'd love to hear from one other person about how the writing touched you. Honey. If it's not alive for anybody, then we can. Is there anybody who's thinking about it?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but I wasn't sure if the purpose was to share our own, what we felt ourselves, or what we talked about in the group.
Whatever is present for you in this moment. It could include.
So I had actually read some of that writing because Karen posted it on LinkedIn, and so I felt like I had a kind of a head start, but it was different. So that was, then I was also trying to find where was it different. I was, you know, trying to remember what I'd read, but I haven't spoken to Karen about this, but she's kind of, I feel like I've just been hoeing in my garden to get the weeds out, and I feel like that's what's happened with this story. Is like it's uncovered just childhood memories for me about my own family and the way we were as a family, and that authoritarian kind of, you know, mood in the house, and how that sort of was like a pall over the house in some ways, and yeah, so it's actually and it keeps, so it, when was it, Wednesday or Thursday, it keeps popping up for me. Like I keep having these little kind of flashbacks about my teenage years. So yeah, it's been quite powerful actually for me. But I feel like, yeah, I got a bit of a head start on hearing some of that. So yeah, thank you, Karen. I think.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's definitely something that can be read over and over.
I had a request to share it, so I'll email it to all of you because your email addresses will be on the registration form. So I'm happy to share it, and thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah, I think that was second draft that went to LinkedIn, and that was what a huge courage, and I actually curled into a little bit of like, oh, what have I done? But there was a part of me that just really wanted to build my courage to bring it tonight to read it, because as the words came through, there was a real sense of like, I shared it with my writing group. I needed for some people to hear it and mirror it back to me, like mirror their response back to me. So yeah, that's really reassured me to bring it. And something has been continuing to bubble in me about it too, like something about the transformation space that is being asked of me to continue to put down the thinking that I think's going to support me to come out of this okay, like that sort of story, to keep dropping the thinking and to keep presencing the body in my ability to be with all the static and the noise and build my resilience. It's like a call to joy as part of the calm and the resilience. And yeah, that's what I'm now more present to, that it's, yeah, thank you, Anita. Still building a consciousness in me that it came through me, but I'm still learning from it. Like yeah, thank you all for receiving it from me. This is really quite momentous. I wonder whether we might ask Kate if you'd be willing.
That's what's next. Is
To hand over to you, and if there's anything else you wanted to share before you start with the piece that you've brought as an offering.
Thanks, Karen. Just really appreciate you bringing that beautiful summary of kind of where we are at this time and place on the planet and in this country and in this group and in this within ourselves. I think it feels very holographic, and my friend has got little signs around her house that says what you focus on expands, and every time I go there I go, oh yeah, that's right, what you focus on expands. So it's like, and being the joy, being an act of rebellion is wonderful. And owning your joy and your happiness and your passion. So this place is a wonderful place to bring that and to bring it tenderly into the light. Thank you for your courage. So tonight I wanted to offer you a song. It's called, some of you will know it, it's called Peaceful Steps, and it's written by Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk. And I feel like it represents our retreat, and it's an invitation to take peaceful steps towards your wisdom and your offering and your gifts to this world and your joy. So I'm going to stand up in a minute and bring out my guitar and unplug myself so you can hear me better. And so I just welcome you to stand or sit. If you feel like sitting, that's fine, because you can take steps with your mind or take steps with your feet, whatever works for you. The neurons will be changing whether you're imagining it or doing it. So you're welcome to, and if you could all stay muted, unfortunately singing doesn't work altogether online, but sing along or harmonise if you want to, because it's just singing to yourself. And so during the songs, it'll go, I'll stand up in a minute and sing it for you. May I take peaceful steps upon the earth. And the next part of it is, I bow to you, a flower. So, just coming forward and bowing. And you may want to, if you're staying still, you may want to catch someone's eye and just, so it's actually recognising that there's another soul there, another soul who's striving to be conscious, that reflects beauty and joy, and has the capacity to reflect beauty and joy and connection. And so you might, but if you're walking around the room, you might find something of beauty in the room and bow to that as something. But it's a bow to you, a flower, because there's a sense of flowering consciousness. Yeah, okay, so I think it's sort of about, I think it kind of summarises our retreat. So I'll push my chair back. You might want to find you might want to find, if you're getting up now, you might want to just make some space for yourself. It goes like this. Can you hear me okay? I've got to find my tune. Peaceful steps on the earth. May I take peaceful steps on the earth. I bow to you, a flower. I bow to you, flower. May I take peaceful steps on the earth. May I take peaceful steps on the earth. I bow to you, a flower. I take peaceful steps on the earth. I bow to you, the flower. I bow to you, flower.
Thank you, Kate. I looked around my room and I found this. And I also found this, which is, I don't know if you can see it. It's a woman reclining and a turtle that I made last year at a session that Natalie ran in the retreat. And it just spoke to me of the earth and the beauty and the creativity of and the wonder, all the wondrous gifts in this group. Yeah.
I want to support and catch you a little bit, Shez, in this beauty, that there's this sweet beauty that you've recognized in your space, that you've brought back to us as an offering of the preciousness of the gifts in us. A deep connection to nature. That's what I get. It's like the deep connection to nature and the precious work that we're wanting to bring through.
Yeah, Patricia was talking about being in nature, and I turned to the window and bowed to the huge eucalypts outside. And actually, now that I've mentioned Patricia, this is my transparent learning. I have some bit of an ache in my heart about interrupting you, Patricia, and being focused on the time more than connecting. So yeah.
I'm grateful to see your camera back on too, Patricia. Yeah, because I felt that too. And I was all excited, and I was like, oh, can you bring this? Can you bring this as a workshop offering? Like, can you bring it to the open space? Or like, there's something deeper here that's really alive for you, that's really precious. And you've named it into the circle now. And I'm like, okay, so there's aliveness in you about that work and how important it feels to help people conjure joy into their bubble and to be in nature. Like, yeah, you really spoke something powerful. I just want to say thank you for bringing it, and to encourage you to think about whether it's a workshop or whether it's something you can bring to an open space. So yeah, thanks. And thank you, Shez, for your transparency. Like, it's hard to bring transparency about like an oops, an ouch into a space with faces that you don't know, or some people here, and just trusting and being brave. Like, I just want to acknowledge the courage to be transparent and the beauty in that too.
Thanks. I'm just noticing that my screen says Anita has raised a hand, but I can't even see it. Oh, there you are. You're in a different spot.
Thank you, Shez. I just wanted to say, Kate, I've heard that song in person with you a number of times, but in this space, which is tricky with sound and Zoom and technology, I really still felt that amazing creation with your being and how you present that for us. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Anita. I did. My tears in my eyes. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, I want to echo that. Thanks, Anita. Thank you, Kate. I actually got like a big release up the top of my head, like felt it viscerally when you started. So it's really a really lovely contribution to the landing in my body after all of what we've been through already. Like it's only been an hour and a bit, but it's like it's been feels precious and rich, and yeah, thank you so much. We've got a little bit of time to just mention a couple of things before we have a checkout round, and I thought it might be a good time now just to encourage those who feel alive about coming to an open space. And so I was going to ask Shez too if she'll help me describe what our open space is about, and to let you know we've scheduled it for next weekend on Saturday. In the afternoon. So the invitation is to come back to the website in the next, maybe just if you're willing to pop there after we finish here. But if it's true for you, if you have space and aliveness to come, next Saturday, the open space is, well, the last time we had an open space, I'll talk to that because I've been to some open spaces in person that have been created according to a handful of principles, one of which is follow your feet, like follow the energy of like if you're feeling joy of being in a certain conversation, and if it's no longer feeling really alive for you, that you follow your feet to another conversation. So the idea is that it's multi-layers of things happening where people follow their own intuition into like, I'd like to raise something. I've got something that I'd like to start. Could be 15 minutes, could be half an hour. And you pop it on a central board and people go, oh, I'd like that looks good. I might go along to that. Or, oh, actually, no, I've got something else that's alive for me. I'd like to try this. Yeah, and the reason this open space feels precious is because if you haven't got like a workshop that's burning to be shared and ready to go as a workshop, but you've got like bubbling ideas for like, oh, I could bring a conversation about something that I'd like to talk about. I'd like to see if there's a willingness or an aliveness in the room for what I'm offering, and offer a 15-minute conversation about it and see if people come. And it's a practice space of imagining what you could bring to a workshop or a conversation. So it's quite a fluid space. I said I was going to share a little bit about how our last one went, but I'll give you to Shez for that, I think, because it shifted from that traditional open space type of a multi-layered event into like we stayed together. We were a smaller group, and Shez, over to you to sort of describe the day. I particularly remember how a few things came together.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to describe. We broke out into small groups and talked about what our needs were, like what we'd really like to experience and if there was something we would like to offer. And it was quite organic and emergent. And that might sound a bit kind of loose and airy-fairy, but something happened as we came back together. We came in our small groups with what we'd kind of had happened within the small group. And then in the larger group, it just became obvious there was an order to it. And then we did it. And it was it was an adventure. Yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense? it's totally different way to doing like a conference where you've got your keynote speaker and you're, nothing wrong with conferences, by the way, just saying, but it was this emergent experience that we had. It was an adventure, and there was clarity and structure about who was doing what when, and then there was spontaneity, and it was a bit like playing like children. It was like being grown up and in our wisdom. Like our wisdom came through and we spoke it, or we asked for what we wanted, and somebody had that piece, and it's like this amazing, creative jigsaw puzzle that came together, and there was this childlike play as well. It was really, I want to label it divine, and then I'm nervous about doing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that,
No, that helps a lot. Like what I'm wanting to say is we were open to the unexpected. Like maybe be open to the unexpected is what I'm suggesting, is like we could come, and those of you who know open space sort of know how it works, and you put things up and then we go off in different directions. It may not happen like that. That's all I'm trying to say, is like we had an intention for one before and it sort of emerged into something else. And we hold a space for that, a willingness to be with that. In fact, Shez said the words today about that's really our competitive, what is it? No, not competitive.
our
a point of difference. Thank you. I was going to say competitive advantage, but that's totally wrong. It's in that old marketing lingo about like what makes us different. It's actually that we love this emergence. We trust it. We keep leaning into it because it shows us our way. And we really want to invite more people, women, into this space to help us co-create and hold that precious emergence and trust it together, so we can actually demonstrate it and reassure each other. And so I'm keen for lovely ideas. What was Anne's idea? I'm going to have a quick look in the chat. The other thing that I want to bring up, and then I'd love to pass back to you, Shez, for the checkout round, is the Facebook page as a way of staying connected to what starts to emerge. Like if people start to have offers, because I really want to encourage you, if you want to try a workshop during this time, to come to the schedule on the website and click the plus button and add your picture, as a couple of wonderful leaders have done, and put in a workshop, because I want to be there. I want to support you to bring through your work. And so I have this sense of there'll be others who'll gather around you to try out what you're wanting, and it'll be in the space of learning and supporting each other. So I'm really I'm a fan of all your work, and I haven't seen it yet. I just know I am. So there's like a plus symbol at the top of the menu, but I really encourage you to reach out to ask, how do I do this, if it's not making sense on the instructions on the website, and to feel into when is right timing for you. There's some suggestions on the Google Calendar of times you could pick, and there's also an open space now between tomorrow and the 30th of this month. So from now until the end of the month is this bigger open space for contributing into, finding a time and a day that would work for you and bringing your work or your conversation. So an encouragement to do that. And the Facebook page link, I'm just going to pop it in the chat and go to Anne, see Anne's. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Love it. Thank you. Yeah. A conversation about the divine and what it means. I love that. So I'm going to go and grab the link for will you take?
While you're doing that,
thank you.
There's one that's not up there yet, which is a poetry writing workshop. But Jenny, can you wave, please, Jenny? Jenny Frayne is a poet and a professional poet, writer, teacher, and I've asked her to do a workshop because she shared with me one day a piece of writing that she'd done about watching her grandson, and it occurred to me that it was it was like a word picture. It wasn't just like a photo. It took me on a journey, and it so touched and so moved me that I thought I want to be able to do that myself. And so she's agreed to do 2 sessions, and I'm really excited about that. And we haven't got it up on the site yet, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just pretty jazzed about it. And
Shares, Elizabeth's got a hand up.
go, Elizabeth.
Thanks.
Thanks.
It's really just a comment, I guess, about payment. I couldn't see a link. So I already had Wise Women Rising in my bank account, so I could pay for today. But I just wanted to ask. I couldn't see how to pay. So maybe others had that same problem.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for asking. I've had it as a intention to bring that piece too, and just say, look, I think I'll just send out an offer of like a little invoice, and if you want to pay $40 or $20 or whatever's alive for you, and maybe it's tonight or maybe it's in a week's time when you feel like you've really sunk into the value of it, or just it's a request. It's a different way of doing payment. It's like we're operating from a principle of sacred economics of mutual support, and I really value that there's contribution that supports the a life underneath. So the structure, the support that we have, that we pay for, and also the possibility of doing events, because we've had some lovely invitations. All right, back to you, Shiz.
Okay, the puppy dogs are. What was I going to say? Yes, a session on sacred economics would be really great. Unless, I don't know, are there people who would be interested in hearing about that? Great, yeah, me too. I'd like to be more connected to it, a different way of being with money in this world. So I feel excited about the potential for different, for all the different possibilities of what any or all of you can bring, and even what I might bring, because I've found myself going, oh, I don't know. And I wanted to do something different to what I'd done before, and something has come. So I'm excited about that now. Yeah. So for our closing, we thought we might invite everybody to say a word, or I don't know, right now I'm like a word or two, maybe 3, a feeling, a quality or something that you value that you have experienced, received tonight. Let's see, I wrote it down. Yeah, so we hear everybody's voice who wants to speak, and if we share in terms of a quality or an emotion or another word, we might kind of create a kind of live, I don't know, dare I say poem, or maybe that's a bit too, yeah. So perhaps if we, if somebody's willing to start, and then choose someone to hand to. So we'll be passing the, what do you call it? Virtual talking stick from person to person, and sharing your 1, 2, or 3 words into our digital circle, maybe into that golden bowl or that spacious cup that we spoke about at the beginning. Irene, did you have your hand up as a person willing to?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. And perhaps if we just leave a little bit of silence after each person, just so we can receive these gifts of words.
When you suggested 2 words, qualities, what came to me were warmth of connection, and joy.
And who are you passing to?
I'm passing to Barbara.
Oh, that's great. So my word is curiosity. And I'll pass to Samantha.
I knew you were going to. I just feel grateful and blessed to be in the company of all of you. And I'll pass to Viola.
Thank you, Samantha. Yeah, I also feel grateful to be in this company, and I feel a kind of little buzz of excitement of something emerging when I see all your faces. And I'll pass to Katya.
Thanks, Viola. I really feel how receptive this space is, like this group. And I'm really grateful for that. My heart is feeling really luxuriating in this sense of receptivity. Is that a word, receptivity? But anyway, I'm going with it. So I'm going to pass to Cora.
Thank you. I feel calm. It's a bit like the eye of the storm, a nice little space to just relax for a minute and feel grounded. Thank you. It's been great. I'll pass to Yvonne.
Thank you, Cora. So thank you for having me. I really enjoyed being in this circle. I'm leaving with a song in my heart. And with the words from the poem resonating to sing with the birds, knowing that the world is great and joy is revenge. I just really loved that. So I'm joyous. Thank you. I'm passing on to Katya.
I think Katya.
I can't see, so all right, I'll better scroll across. So, Jenny.
Oh, I'm present to the preciousness of community, especially among women. That's what I'm present to. Oh, I'm passing on to Jeanette.
Thanks, Jenny. What's coming up for me is a sense of glow, a feeling of glow, and yeah, like a light, a lot of light, a golden sun. That's what's coming up for me. And it's really precious. And yeah, I'm very grateful. I will pass it to Elizabeth. Maybe, actually her internet was a bit tricky, so I think she's frozen. Annie.
Oh. Thank you. Spaciousness and it's like you know, floating in something like buoyancy, floating in deep water, something, being buoyed. Warm water, it's all very nice and warm and tropical water I'm floating in. Anyway, and connected. Yeah, very lovely. Kate.
I'm feeling the way of the feminine is through joy and expression and connection. I feel hopeful. So I'm going to go and do some random acts of rebellion by being joyous. I pass to Louise.
Thanks, Kate. I've got some lovely things to go away and think about, but mutual joy stands out for me. So thank you everybody for that. And I'll pass to Patricia.
Thank you, Louise. For me, I feel like I've received the beauty and power of words tonight, really, and how they can be connecting and disconnecting. Thank you. That's it. And I'll pass to Karen.
Thank you. Yeah, something soft. Just holding my cheeks. Like nurture. And maybe like just recharging my batteries a little. And I like plugging in to joy. So yeah, I feel like I've been restored. Like the energies in my face and my heart, and it feels, yeah, I feel really blessed was the word that came up before. Yeah, there's a sense of being really grateful. Yeah, I'll pass to Anne.
I wanted to say how I love the breakout rooms. It's my first time here, so it's valuable for me to get to know people on a more personal level, to have a sense. I feel like I'm very new. Like, I love the let joy be your rebellion. I'm going to run with that. I often draw this little rebellious, joyous creature. So, and I really liked Patricia's the idea of how you, and it takes on Kate's idea about what you, sorry, it's not one word, but what you focus to expands. So, you know, when you're feeling swamped and overwhelmed, if you can find that place of joy for Patricia and feel into that. And likewise, we're in a climate where fear is being used as a very powerful tool. So just try to find the still place within of love and magnify that within yourself. Something that, even if it's just like love of a flower, like Kate's bow to the flower, you know, holding that vision so that we can bring these deep rising women's values out to shine again. Yeah. I have to pray for this because it feels like that's one of the most powerful tools we've got at the moment. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. And joy. I love the I can never not feel joyous when there's an Irish voice in the room. It just fills me with joy.
So I received that too just after the talk of joy. I went, oh, I love that voice. Oh, do I pass to someone? Is there anyone who hasn't spoken? Can you put your hand up, please?
Anita and Elizabeth, I think.
Anita.
Thank you, Anne. And I'm sorry we didn't get more time to speak in the first breakout. It was interesting. So my words are rawness, vulnerability in beauty.
So lucky last, I think. I'm feeling peace and gratitude right now. Thank you, everyone. Jez.
Thank you. Full, thankful, and yeah, peaceful. And I look forward to getting to know those of you who I don't know. I'm really looking forward to exploring together and to see what we might bring to share with each other. That's really what's alive for me. Anticipation. Thank you.
I think we just leave gently, really, and trust that we'll catch each other in another session, or that what needs to come through us will come through us next, and that we know that we're together in this. There's a sense of having connected, and to just take that with you into tonight and the next days and ahead, and knowing that you're in tribe, you're in community, and there's a real sense of the joy will travel with us. That's what I'm asking. Much love, and see you again really soon. Big love.
Unmute yourself and just hear.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.